Exclamation Point was a YouTube channel run by two, at the time at least, friends, Danny and Paul. Started in 2013 and ended in 2017 or 2018, depending on how you look at it. This video is going to be separated into 3 parts, all within the video of course. First we'll go over the channel and then the way things are now. This is the bizarre fall of Exclamation Point YT. I would say the channel was created in 2013 because if you go to the channel, that's what it says. And it also shows the first upload on the channel, publicly at least, is called Cute Things Girls Do from 2014. I'm unsure if this was actually the first video on this exact channel, as some have been privatized, like Things Girls Do That Guys Hate from June 2014. You may have noticed I said this exact channel because this isn't actually where the story starts, like I thought it did. It actually goes back even a few years before that, to 2011, to a different YouTube channel. I think that's why the channel is called Exclamation Point YT, because there was another channel, which no longer exists, called Exclamation Point Band, which unlike the main channel, doesn't exist anymore, except for the remnants on the Wayback Machine, and actually the Facebook page is still online in all its early 2010s glory. I was curious about how they gained so many subscribers so quickly, and I think there's a few reasons, one of them being the collabs and some of it being that they'd actually already established an audience by this other channel and made personal channels as well. Even stranger, there was actually a third member called Pete, who can be seen in the description and profile picture of an early 2012 save of the band's YouTube channel. As you'd imagine, the band would do covers and some originals too. Although Paul's channel doesn't seem to exist anymore, it was created in 2013 at the latest, with Danny's channel being created around the same time. The channel would peak at over 60,000 subscribers, with a 2016 save showing the channel had been rebranded to Steph James and all previous content being wiped. By 2014, Paul would have over 100,000 subs on his main channel, with Danny's stats being unknown around then, but could be similar. Although Danny did allegedly have over 100,000 Twitter followers in 2012, which could have contributed to the success, according to some sources, he found success on Vine, which could have been the cause. Although in saying that, the Twitter followers thing was a month after its launch. They also have links to other social medias in older screenshots, these being Keek, Ustream, and later Musically and Lively. According to the playlist available, it seems that 20 or so videos are private from the main channel currently. In 2015 they would also launch EP Games, which would both stop and start in that year, posting 25 videos and gaining 25,000 subscribers in the meantime. Although they would largely do solo and joint videos, they would also do a bunch of collabs, with the first publicly available one being with Alexis Giselle. Other noticeable collabs would be with Luke Corns along with Johnny Gilbert and 4 members of My Digital Escape, those being Johnny, Alex, Brian and Kyle, and they would even get their own video on My Digital Escape. Everything was looking like it was on the up, that everything was going well. That would be until around 2016, with the video Saying Goodbye to My Best Friend. In an early part of the video, it reads, "Dear Paul, it made me sad we weren't together in your last video," implying that Paul had made a farewell video, which unfortunately doesn't seem to have been archived anywhere. Although CelebMix did post about it, saying that Paul stated in the video that he hadn't been feeling happy lately and that he felt it was best for himself to leave the channel. Danny would continue to upload solo onto the channel for a bit. In some of these, he would explain the situation a bit more. Danny says that they went to a pet film to store a video, that they hadn't seen much of each other for a while. They discussed the future of the channel and everything seemed good. Danny would tweet at Paul and not receive a reply, and then 2 days later Paul said he was leaving the channel and that they were holding each other back. In the video Some More Secrets, he'll promote a new channel of his, at the time called Dirty Dan, which we'll talk about soon. The last video on the channel will come in late 2018 called Dear Paul Zimmer 2 years later, which has little to do with Paul and has to do with him promoting a piano-based channel. Oddly, the link in the description says Dirty Danny, but actually sends you to a channel called DA space PE. And the channel username at the start is Daniel backwards, so I would assume it has something to do with him at least. And it turns out the piano channel that he was promoting was seemingly a rebrand of Dirty Dan, at least from what I could find. He'll post a compilation video as the quote-unquote final video. So that's a basic breakdown of the Exclamation Point channel, or at least my understanding. The channel as of right now sits at over 600,000 subscribers, but hasn't been posted on in years. As mentioned previously, Danny had multiple channels while Exclamation Point was around, and that's where his content has been housed since, on YouTube at least. In 2016, a few months after the Saying Goodbye to My Best Friend video, he would upload his My Digital Escape 2.0 video, as he was allegedly going to be part of the rebrand that fell apart. Oddly enough, in this video he also promotes a new channel, one that I'd mentioned in at least one video on this channel before, and that is the collab channel Little Big Family. The channel only has 23 videos, but can still be found to this day, as of writing this video at least. I consider the channel to be something that was kind of done as a response to the whole My Digital Escape 2.0 thing, riding off the hype of it at least. His last video on his biggest solo channel, simply called Danny Edge, was uploaded in 2017, or at least that's what the public videos suggest. Oddly, the description of the video at the top links a video about his relationship with Austin Jones, although that video is private and hasn't been archived anywhere. It could be similar to the video that D Fizzy made, I'm not sure. In 2019, a lot of this fame would come crumbling down as he was exposed. You can still find most of the stuff online, but in short, he was copping flack for two things at the time: alleged predatory behaviour and other odd behaviour in general. I won't go into details, but there's a whole Twitter account dedicated to it, although some of the tweets no longer exist and have been lost to time, and he did also make a statement at the time, but that can no longer be viewed either. But he definitely denied parts of it, if not all of it, as an unlisted video still exists. There are also videos on YouTube going into some detail about the predatory behaviour if you have any interest in watching them. The other thing was relating to Eugenia Cooney and about him allegedly saying he was in contact with her or something along those lines. They knew each other though, that's for sure. They had also both made videos for Little Big Family too. Outside of a few videos, I can't find too much about it, and I think it all seems to be in the past now, but I feel like things changed after 2019, and I'll show you what I mean. Since the start of what was his second channel, he changed initially from Dirty Dan to Piano Dan, likely after the 2019 drama, then to Piano ASMR for sleep anxiety and something else. The screenshot I found didn't have the full channel name, and he's most recently changed it to Daniel145. On top of this, he has had some name changes on Instagram too, because honestly, when I started looking into this video a while ago, I thought he disappeared off the internet, but he was going by the name Daniel Noda at that time, but he's since changed it again to Sapphire Iced, going by the name Violet Boy on TikTok. He has a decent following on those social medias too, so he's well and truly still around. That TikTok account actually seems to be his original Musical.ly account, as if you scroll down you see videos from 2015 and before. I've mentioned and made a few videos around TikTok in the past, but I didn't actually know that that was a thing. Because outside of using it for research for like the Alex Dorame stuff, I don't use it. He's still making content about Paul Zimmer to this day, which I think is a good segue into talking about Paul. And we'll talk about the stuff that he's talking about now at the end of the video. Everything was seemingly going well for Paul. He was still successful on YouTube, Instagram, and at the time Musical.ly, where he allegedly had around 7 million followers at the time. According to the New Statesman, in 2017 his empire began to crumble. The aforementioned Lively was the predecessor to TikTok Live, but had the same gift system that's famous now. Pay money to send stickers to your favourite streamer. Paul would ask for these in exchange for things like shoutouts, sharing videos, and personal DMs, and even duets, or at least that's what people were meant to get. It turns out that allegedly they didn't. A hashtag was even made called Ban Paul Zimmer. Although I initially wasn't sure if there was any proof of this, Danny Gonzalez and some other users did compile what they considered evidence of him not delivering on at least some duets and also allegedly unfollowing people. So what do you do as a result? Do you apologize, or do you do what Paul did and wipe his Instagram and YouTube and disappear off the internet, seemingly taking all the money and unkept promises with you? Paul went radio silent, along with his partner. His partner is called Jamie, and even through all of this, they are still, as of writing, together. She would rejoin social media sometime later, as would Paul. Although Jamie was still called Jamie, Paul was no longer Paul. Let me introduce you to Troy Becker. 2019 would come along, and so would the emergence of Troy Becker. Starting in October, Paul would take to his main account, post for the first time in a long time, and post a comparison to an actor called Troy Becker. Paul would shut down the claims that he was Troy by stating he was his younger brother and that their looks being similar was merely coincidence. Doubling down on this even further, taking to his personal account stating he was stepping out of the spotlight and handing his social media accounts to Troy, claiming he was his younger twin and he was around 15 or 16 years old. While this may seem bizarre, that is because it is. Multiple videos were made about it at the time, but in short, Danny Gonzalez would make a video and reveal that Troy had appeared in a post for an acting school months prior to the announcement. The internet was convinced that Troy was in fact Paul Zimmer, but was he? Well, in short, yes. Of course he was. Although he would give some context on TikTok stating that his name was Troy Becker and Paul Zimmer was a character, not the other way around, which has some truth to it, as his legal name is now Troy Becker, and his name has never actually been Paul Zimmer. His name was Paul, but he had a different last name. And saying that, Troy isn't entirely true either, because the real person was not 16 at the time, but in fact 24. So there were half-truths everywhere. He did also say that he never scammed anyone as well, but that's definitely up for debate based on what I've researched and seen. As it currently stands, Troy Becker is active on TikTok with 26,000 followers, and Instagram with 170,000 followers, and interestingly back on YouTube with 230 subscribers. Although oddly enough, the 170,000 followed account on Instagram links that YouTube channel, but the YouTube channel links an Instagram with 120 followers. Troy basically makes videos trying food and challenges and all that, and Jamie has even appeared in videos. His first upload to the channel was only a few months ago now, and was an explanation video about the whole thing, stating that the channel ended because there was certain situations that he wasn't okay with and that Danny had moved from the state that he lived in. He also maintains that he delivered on his promises of duets and stuff, like rewards for giving money and other things to him on Lively. He also says that he didn't leave the internet as a result of all the drama. It was to plan a wedding with Jamie. Apparently, it's all coincidental. Apparently. In regards to the name change, it was allegedly for safety. He also alleges that he basically had a social media manager and that was who posted the Troy Becker stuff, because he wasn't on social media. Presumably they still had access to the Paul Zimmer original Instagram, or I assume that's what he means, or at least is implying. He said that he didn't clear up the Paul/Troy thing because he didn't think people believed it to start with, but he added fuel to the fire as a way to just play into it apparently. To no one's surprise, Danny would respond to Paul. Not exactly that video, but to posts on TikTok. Let's briefly talk about what Danny has had to say this year, starting with Danny's video about the past, which I originally thought was about Paul, but it isn't. Danny would upload the video addressing the past in January of this year. Danny says there's a lot of blanks to fill in, but he doesn't think Paul is a bad person now, but they both weren't always good people, that they were in fact terrible. During the height of ExclamationPoint, Danny was becoming addicted to alcohol and drugs, the latter of which put him in a state of feeling like he was dying all the time, but he says that he didn't communicate this to Paul. He would in 2017 go to rehab. After he got out, he went to Maine and relapsed. He also says that he doesn't remember 2018 to 2021, due to the drugs I assume, but that he was there because there's evidence of it in his terrible behavior around those times. And I assume this explains the unlisted videos around that time as well. He also says that he was probably one of the worst people on the planet, that he was controlling and manipulative, and that it stemmed from unhappiness in himself and wanting to escape through drugs. Through rehab, he was convinced that his issues were a result of social media, and although this wasn't entirely true, he did leave social media for a period of time. In 2021, he landed in hospital, and with what was in his system, he probably should have died. He also got taken to the psych ward a little later, and he also got taken to jail at some point. He doesn't state how long it was for or anything like that, but he does say that he violated the protective order that was against him from his girlfriend at the time due to his bad memory at the time. So the jail thing may be a result of that. And then the rest of that video is just motivational stuff really. Outside of this, Danny has uploaded some TikToks about Paul. One of them, he says that Paul came to him with the proposition of relaunching ExclamationPoint. Danny says that he booked tickets and everything, but Paul ghosted him. There's another TikTok called Paul Zimmer just said what, which shows a bit of Danny's video at the start and then a video where Paul talks about what happened. Danny reacts to it somewhat, being shocked when Paul says that everyone who he was friends with back then stabbed him in the back and jumped on the hate wagon. He then plays the clip of him calling him a good person and says, "I might need to edit my video." This is the state of ExclamationPoint and the world of Danny Edge and Paul Zimmer. I'm sure I probably missed some stuff and some of it is probably lost to time, but I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments if there's anything major that I should have spoken about. But regardless, hopefully you enjoyed this video.